Big deal. And Saturday, only at Paper Plus.
Book clubs have become a really popular way of enjoying a good read, but choosing the right titles can be difficult, controversial too.
Yes, here were 3 choices that are perfect for book clubs as Paper Plus book critic Craig Atkinson. I'm going to start with seating arrangements. What makes this a book club best book?
Well, I think the main thing for me was the characterisation. I think that none of the characters are people that you particularly like necessarily, but you want to find out what happens to them. And all the action takes place over the course of 3 days, and family are gathered for a wedding in a fictional island in New England in the States. And it's all about the sort of the nuances of what happens, the interplay between the family relations, and you get hooked in and you want to find out what happens to them. But there's a kind of bigger picture here, that it is a sort of satire of the kind of American dream, the American way of life. I mean, these characters are, the patriarch of the family is someone who's obsessed with not getting into the Pequod Club, and he's convinced that it's because his daughter is split up with his nemesis's son, and
of course that relationship breakdown and
and he's you know, all the things that are important to him you sort of realise aren't really important things at all. So it's just brilliantly written. I really enjoyed it, and I think there are lots of good talking points in here, and a number of nods to greats of American literature. The fact that the Pequod Club is called that is a nod to Herman Melville. That was the name of the ship in Moby Dick and so on. So it's very, very clever, and it's one of those books that there's really good plot, but also really good character, and the writing carries it as well. So it's a great combination of all those 3.
OK, the second book I've got, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Now, the thing that strikes you first is these huge glasses. It's quite a funky-looking cover.
It is.
Is this would you call this a more modern book, or how would you describe it? Because it looks modern.
Definitely. This is set in modern-day Seattle, and there's lots of references to Microsoft, who, of course, are based there. But what I loved about this is the fact that it works as a kind of puzzle. Because as you read it, it's told through a series of emails and documents and correspondence, and you're sort of trying to piece together, because the Bernadette of the title does go missing, and we're trying to figure out where she is. And as the reader, you're left trying to piece together what's going on. And a lot of the time you think you've worked it out, and then you find that you haven't at all. And I quite enjoyed that, because it was a real sort of guessing game. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons I picked it, because I think that book clubs would enjoy comparing notes as to what they thought was going on.
What they thought was happening at a certain time.
And then you suddenly find out that that's not the case at all. You know, something very different is happening.
Well, it sounds a bit like
Craig,
me.
I thought that Street had lumbered me with some sort of girly Victorian romance with this one. I was very wrong. Mrs. Robinson's Disgrace, The Private Diary of a Victorian Lady, actually a factual story. I'm a third of the way. I'm really enjoying this.
Well, it's a fascinating one, because it's based on a true story of a woman in mid-Victorian, mid-19th century England, or Britain, who...
Trapped in a loveless marriage.
Trapped in a loveless marriage, exactly that, who was, you know, clearly very miserable, very much a kind of real-life Madame Bovary, if you like. And she started to write this diary. She met this young doctor and clearly was fantasising about him, or was she? Or was she actually having an affair? And we never actually quite find out.
And of course, the diary became the substance of a divorce case.
Absolutely. And so the divorce case was based on these supposed confessions. But the defence was that she was a madwoman and made it all up. And so it just really is a fascinating insight into the kind of mindset of that time and the politics of that time, and indeed how marriage worked. And as a modern reader, you read it and just think, surely not. This couldn't have been the case. But it's absolutely fascinating and brilliantly written.
It is.
Well, Craig Atkinson, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank
Gordon
you.
Harcourt, I'm saying to worry about you. Girly books, Christmas tree decorations, your forte. Well.
I just haven't got a comeback for that, have I?
No, you don't. Anyway, something blokey. The Black Caps are coming up next, and Gordon's going to take over that interview. And then I'm going to talk winter weddings, but right now here's Brooke.
Kia ora, good morning.